routine. Alright, what we have here is a failure to communicate. This is what I think is going on, and I'm hoping I'm wrong. Really hoping I'm wrong. So we got this floor pan in. I've got this set back where I need it. If you can see, there's no gap. It's all the way up against the trunk pan for the most part. I thought, well, you know, maybe that flange is just a little bit, you know, they make them a little bit big so you can trim them down or whatever. I don't think that's the case. I think the case is the trunk is pushed forward because everything else was pushed forward. It only goes to make, you know, only makes sense. Why I say that, and hopefully this will show this. Okay, my torque box is here. I'll try to show that if I can. There's a gap. It needs to come back a 1/4 of an inch. I don't know, maybe 3/16 of an inch or so. But I'm not sure how much it needs to come back. I mean, I know it needs to come back to be flush with this, and it won't right now. So I've either got two options, which I'm going to do anyways to the trunk pan, is take it out. But that means everything else that's attached to that trunk pan is bent forward, if that's the case. So what I'm going to do is take my seat deals out, because I had them on the original floor bolted in right there where they were supposed to be originally. So I'm going to put those back in where they're supposed to be, clamp them down, run the bolt in there, and then see forward to back what I'm working with. My guess is, because all this was bent and all that, it probably pushed that floor pan close to a 1/2 inch in, probably ish, whatever it is. The fact that it didn't buckle too bad anywhere, I mean, we talked about it buckling a little bit, like right in here somewhere. But, yeah, I don't know. Don't know. The one thing I do know is I can't trust any measurement on this car from original. And for most of the people I see, that's something they can trust, because their car's not been wrecked. So they just put it back where the original was. Well, I can't do that, because clearly something's been pushed forward. That needs to come back that direction and down, which would also make that pan come back and touch those torque boxes. You can see a gap in there. And we know these frame rails are right because the jig's right. So that's where I'm at. And again, we've got these buckles, and we know that that got shoved, which probably shoved that forward a bit. So anyway, that's where I'm at with that. What I'm going to do next, you can see here I've got the old floor pan sitting up here. And so I'm going to go ahead and cut all these spot welds out and get these brackets or braces out. And you see here where I had bolted before that, and then the one over here off those braces. So that was a great idea, because that'll help me align that, hoping that this hasn't been bent all the way up to this area. Now we know this was buckled, which is another tattletale. If this got buckled that hard, you know that floor pan in the trunk got pushed that way too. Both sides, look at this. Now you can see it a little better now it's out of the car. I pointed this out before, but it just buckled that. Now all up in here doesn't look too bad. Right through here and back, it's pretty hammered. So that shockwave went through the car and just buckled it. Hence why I'm replacing all of this, because I don't want to take a chance and get something back in here with something bent and then have a whole bunch of problems. So just replace the whole damn floor. Now ultimately, I can pull this out on the jig, build this whole platform, put it all together, bolt it all together, roll it back under there, and then line the car up with the floor, because we know the floor is going to be right because of the jig and everything with the factory. So I remember I told a guy that worked at the busiest station in my fire department. He worked there for 11 years. They made 6,000 calls a year. That was 10% of all of the calls that the city made. And I told the guy, I said, you know what? Because I worked there for a couple years. I said, either you're really brave, or really strong, or really tough, or you're really stupid. And I haven't figured out which one it is yet. And that's kind of where I feel like I am right now. I'm either really stubborn or I'm really stupid. Because most people would have scrapped this car and went and found him another one. Or bought a body or whatever. I just don't have quit in me. Not for this car. So until I get to a point where I just say, you know what, I absolutely cannot fix this. There's just no freaking way that I can fix this. Then I'm not giving up. So I just think it'll work. I think it'll, once I get all this old bent stuff out of here, even if these are bent forward a little bit and I have to pour to power them somehow or whatever, I can bend them back into shape and get them back where they need to be. I'll put all these panels back on, line everything, and make sure it's all where it needs to be before I go welding anything. Again, using the bolt system that most people are not a fan so far told me I need to use sheet metal. And I used to use those self-tappers or whatever, but this idea is so much better. And I had a guy say the other idea was so much better. Okay, let me give you a little once-over on that. So, alright, let's just say here for instance, I can self-tap this, okay? Hopefully I'm showing that right. And this is just a for instance. So I self-tap this, and then I've got to take them back out. Okay, so I take them back out, and they may work again. I may self-tap it again right back into the same hole, and that may work fine. I may have to take these rails out 20, 30 times. Who knows how many times? Well, after a while, those self-tappers are just wallering. Now you've got a hole that you can't use anymore. Okay, so let's go the other route. You drill a hole up through here, you put a bolt in there, put a nut on the back side of it. And of course you couldn't right here, but you see what I'm saying. Say this right here. Let's go with this. So now I've got a bolt on the back side. Okay, no, even better. So I've already got this in here. So I've got to take this firewall in and out of here. God knows how many. I've already taken it in and out. God knows how many times. Okay, I made two 3/16 inch holes. Okay, if I'd have put self-tappers in here, now if I'm going to do this once or twice, I may be fine. But I'm going to have to take this out a lot, and I just am. Okay, so these holes stay the same. So I come back to these same holes. I put these same nuts back in here. I can even use Klinkos if I want to for a temporary hold. Okay, versus wallering that thing out and then end up losing my spot because it wallered the hole out, or the screw stripped all the metal out, or whatever, of sitting and taking that in and out. This will never do that. This works. So for all the people who keep saying, "Oh, you're dumb for using," use your brain. I mean, come on. It just makes sense. And I'm wrong on a lot of things, but this is not one of them. So yeah, this is the way to go. You can do what you want. You can self-tap it if you want, and that's fine. Like I said, if you've got it to where you can drop it in, it fits perfect, you self-tap it in, you weld it, you're good to go, high five. I don't have that luxury. This car is jacked. So I'm going to have to take these panels on and off, on and off, on and off. That floor is going to have to come off, in, on, out, the whole thing over and over again. So I need to be able to go, okay, right there, and slide that sucker right back through the hole where it was. I've got that option now. I have to sit with a deal and go, and pull that out, back in, out, back in, and then strip it, and then go, oh shit, now what do I do? No. Alright, so there's the tip for the day. Alright, I'm going to give a few tips here that I learned the hard way. First of all, I went through here. If you can do that, that's great. If you can't, then it is what it is. But you can see basically, you can see how this comes out. You just have to do these top ones. Okay, my suggestion is to run these top ones like I did here. Don't do those top ones and then do these from in here if you can. If you can't, then do them out here however you can do it. And same with these. Do these. Do these. Don't do the insides. Get underneath the car, okay, and run those. So much easier. I'll do that the next time. Really, all you need to do to hit the top, matter of fact, you don't even have to do these. My bad. Just do these on top. Get everything else from the bottom. Go underneath, and you can physically see your spots like that underneath. Would have been way easier. Man, I fought with this and fought with this and fought with this. So just a little heads up for you guys, for me to you. If you want to use it, use it. If you don't, then be a stubborn asshole. I don't care. Alright, so another problem I had, this nail here, I had welded in here. Well, that was a mistake, because now I can't lift the pan up, I can't get this underneath there, I can't, all that stuff. So basically what I did was went in and run a bolt through there. So now I can remove it. So now I can put the pan in like it needs to be. This is going to line up exactly with that. So that's going to line up exactly like that. So that ought to be exactly like that's supposed to be. Looks like it. Crease there, crease under there, just like that. It's only going to fit one way. So now I'll go ahead and stick this back in. That back through. Hang with me for a second, because I'm doing this one-handed, and you know how that works. Alright, shitbag. Alright, Well, I can't find the hole. Doesn't have any damn hair around it. What the hell? Let me set you down for a second. You just listen to me dick around with this. Come on, man. Get in there. Well, we thought we were going to make it easy. I'll bring you back when I stop dicking around with this. Alright, we got her in. She needs a little bit of gentle loving and persuading. We got her back in, down. All this is lined up good. So this basically has to line up with the front of that lower bracket that's in there. And you can see, of course, the hole is lining up like it's supposed to in there for your seat. So, yeah. There you go. Here's the problem. Always a problem, right? And pull that down, that'll seat up like it's supposed to. Problem is, we got that little gap still. And that's probably an 1/8 of an inch-ish. Something like that, 3/16. So that means and these can't move. They have to stay where they are. So that means this whole thing needs to go back. Well, I guess if that goes back, problem is it's already starting to hit up here. So this flange may be just a little tad too wide, which I need to take this out and kind of look and see what the other tab look like. There's the tab there. It's pretty damn close. That's the sucky part. Or this is pushed in this way, which that could very well be the case. I think we already talked about that, but I don't remember what I said last time I turned this video camera on. So you're gonna get it twice. All right, that's gonna be it for me tonight. Yeah, fun stuff. So we'll look at this one more time. Rust. So my guess is that's not galvanized. That is galvanized. Galvanized is good. Not galvanized is not good. Alright, see you learned something today. Alright, that's it. I still got that sumbitch to take off. That thing was a pain. I'm telling you, if you listen to what I said, you take those, just run those 2 strips there, and then flip that sucker over and go in, or get underneath the car and do it. It's gonna make your life way easier, way easier. Alright, see ya.